Saturday morning, suburban America. The smell of fresh-cut grass mixed with something else, something chemical. Weed and feed, pre-emergent herbicide, post-emergent herbicide, fertilizer formulated in laboratories. 43 million acres of American lawns, drenched in 80 million pounds of pesticides every single year. Why? To achieve this: perfection, uniformity, a green desert. But look closer. Right there, in the driveway, between the cracks of conquest. An intruder. The homeowner sees it and rips it out. A weed. Worthless. Invasive. Garbage. But here's what that homeowner doesn't know. That weed contains more omega-3 fatty acids than any leafy green on Earth. 400 milligrams per 100 grams. Gram for gram, it rivals fish. The Greeks called it androchol, the essential green. The same omega-3s people spend billions on in pill form, growing for free in the driveway they just poisoned. Nature's salmon, and they've convinced you to kill it. They spend billions to kill it, so you never learn its name. Purslane, Portulaca oleracea, the most nutritious weed you've ever murdered. Let's go back. 370 BCE, Athens, Greece. A man named Theophrastus, student of Aristotle, father of botanical science, sits in his study documenting every plant known to the Mediterranean world. 9 volumes. Inquiry into Plants, the first comprehensive botanical text in human history. And there, on the pages describing essential vegetables, he writes about androchol, a cooling herb, excellent for the stomach, calms inflammation, sharpens thought, essential for those who study. Sharpens thought. The ancient Greeks didn't just eat purslane, they relied on it. Before Socrates debated in the agora, before Plato taught in the academy, before Aristotle systematized logic, they ate purslane. Modern neuroscience would later discover why. Omega-3 fatty acids are structural components of brain tissue. 30% of your brain's dry weight is omega-3. They build cell membranes. They reduce neuroinflammation. They enhance synaptic plasticity, the brain's ability to learn. The greatest minds in human history were fueled by the weed we spray with Roundup. But the Greeks weren't alone. Across the ocean, thousands of years before Europeans arrived, indigenous peoples of North America had their own relationship with purslane. The Hopi called it Maatsaka. The Navajo, Tlo Nadae. The Paiute harvested it as kuma. They collected the seeds, tiny black pearls no bigger than poppy seeds, and ground them into flour. Protein, essential fatty acids, minerals, survival food. But more than that, hydration. Purslane is 93% water, but not just water, structured water, loaded with electrolytes. The leaves are succulent, thick, juicy, designed to hold moisture in the harshest conditions. The indigenous peoples understood what corporate agriculture has forgotten. You don't fight the land. You work with it. The plants that grow easily, that ask for nothing, that volunteer themselves, those are the ones telling you, I belong here. Separated by oceans, separated by thousands of years, but they arrived at the same conclusion. This plant is essential, and yet we've forgotten. No, we've been taught to forget. The system has interrupted. End of provided script. 1992, University of Texas at San Antonio. Dr. Artemis Simopoulos, a lipid biochemist with a mission, decides to test something that everybody knows is just a weed. She subjects purslane to comprehensive nutritional analysis. The results shocked the scientific community. 400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid per 100 grams. 7 times more than spinach, more than twice kale. Now, salmon has more total omega-3. But here's what they don't tell you. Salmon costs $30 a pound. Purslane costs nothing. Farmed salmon is fed soy and corn, contaminated with PCBs, dosed with antibiotics. Wild salmon carries mercury, microplastics, the ocean's pollution. Purslane, it grows in your backyard. Clean, free, abundant. But the omega-3 was just the beginning. Purslane contains 7 times more vitamin A than carrots. It has the highest level of vitamin E of any leafy vegetable. More calcium than milk, ounce for ounce. More iron than beef. More potassium than bananas. And here's the secret weapon, betalains. The same antioxidant compounds that make beets purple exist in purslane. Studies at the University of Malaysia found that Purslane extract stops the growth of liver cancer cells. Research in Korea showed it inhibits leukemia. Over 2,000 published studies documenting anti-diabetic effects, cardioprotective properties, neuroprotective compounds. And yet, you can't buy it in stores. When you find it, it's sold as an exotic specialty green. $6 for what grows free in every sidewalk crack in America. Meanwhile, the Omega-3 supplements, $50 a bottle. Extracted from fish, processed in factories, oxidized during storage, delivered in gelatin capsules that may or may not survive your stomach acid. Or you could eat Purslane, fresh, whole, the way nature designed it. But here's the problem. You can't patent Purslane. You can't own it. You can't create dependency on something that volunteers itself into existence. So what do? You convince people it's worthless. You rebrand it as the enemy, and you sell them the poison to kill their own food. Sound of spraying. Let's talk about what happened. After World War II, chemical companies had a problem. They built massive factories to produce nitrogen for bombs, organophosphates for nerve gas, herbicides for chemical warfare. The war was over, but the factories remained. The infrastructure, the chemical production capacity. So they pivoted. They convinced Americans that lawns should be perfect, uniform, monoculture. Before the 1950s, American yards were diverse. Clover for nitrogen fixation, violets for beauty, Purslane for food. People knew their yards fed them. Then came the propaganda. Any plant that wasn't grass became a weed, a failure, an embarrassment. And conveniently, they sold the solution. Today, the lawn care industry is worth $99 billion. Americans spend more on lawn care than the entire GDP of some nations. 43 million acres of monoculture grass, the largest irrigated crop in America, using 9 billion gallons of water per day, creating toxic runoff that poisons waterways, exposing children to carcinogenic pesticides. And for what? So Purslane doesn't grow. Glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, is the most widely used herbicide in human history. 1.8 billion kilograms applied every year, linked to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, to endocrine disruption. Monsanto's own scientists knew it was dangerous. They sold it anyway, and it's still on shelves. Killing Purslane, killing clover, killing dandelions, killing free food. And then, the same corporations sell you Omega-3 supplements. They poison the free Omega-3 growing in your yard and sell you an inferior replacement for $50 a bottle. Create the problem, sell the solution. It's not a bug in the system. It's the business model. But Purslane doesn't care about their business model. It keeps growing. So what do? First, we stop. Stop pulling. Stop spraying. Stop fighting. Second, we learn. Purslane is easy to identify. Thick stems, reddish or green. Smooth, never hairy. Leaves shaped like small paddles. Fleshy, full of moisture. Tiny yellow flowers, 5 petals. They open at sunrise. Gone by noon. It grows low, spreading outward in a mat, hugging the earth. Important, do not confuse with spurge. Spurge has thin stems, and when you break it, white milky sap appears. Purslane sap is clear, never white. Third, we harvest. Cut the stems about 3 inches from the tip. Leave the roots. It'll regrow, often more vigorously. You can harvest the same plant all summer long. Fourth, we eat. Kitchen. Purslane being washed. Raw. It tastes slightly tart. Lemony. Crunchy. The Greeks toss it with olive oil and lemon. In Mexico, verdolagas, cooked with pork and green chili. Middle Eastern faddish salad, blended in smoothies. Stir-fry it lightly. Pickle the stems. Fifth, we save seeds. Let some plants go to seed. Collect those tiny black pearls. Next spring, scatter them where you want Purslane. In garden beds, in pots, in places you choose. Sixth, we share. Tell your neighbors. Share at farmers markets. Post about it. Teach your children. This is how we take it back. Not by fighting the corporations, but by making them irrelevant. You can't fight a system that profits from your ignorance by staying ignorant. You fight it by knowing. Montage. Driveways across America. Purslane growing. Recognized. Honored. Music swells. They spent billions teaching you to kill it. Now spend nothing learning to love it. Nature's salmon. growing in the cracks, waiting for you to remember.